So good morning to you all. So yesterday we made a historic decision. As you know, I wasn't very optimistic, but we managed to do the decision, and we are happy about this. What, of course, we have to work with is the financial support. What I can assure you that Ukraine will not be left without support. There was a strong will of 26 to provide this support, and there were different ways how we can do this. We will work this out, and probably we'll have another meeting maybe in January to reach an agreement on this. But definitely there is a strong will to do it, to help Ukraine as much as possible. What is today's topic is of course also the defense readiness and also the single market for defense. This has been very important to us because we have to increase our defense expenditure, but we also have to increase the interoperability of the military defense equipment, ammunition that we have. So I'm glad that this is in the conclusions, and we will move on with this.
Just to clarify, if Hungary doesn't come through between now and that emergency summit at the end of January, the 26 will send these 50 billion regardless.
That is the will, that we will definitely find a solution then out. But of course it's much more difficult because you have to think of new instruments, and that means also going to the parliaments, getting a mandate, and it is more difficult this way. But we are working on these ideas. It was clear that we did not come to conclusion yesterday night. It was clear victory on the accession talks, so there was no point that Hungary would give another good news, I would say.
Yesterday, Viktor Orbán said he would be actually in favor of not doing it via the MFF, but doing it intergovernmentally. Why do you think is that? Why is he not in favor of doing it the easy way?
Because he doesn't want to be part of it. This is that it is outside the budget. So you can do whatever you can do, but I don't want to be part of it. So that was his explanation for this. But of course we have the tools, and it is easier to use those tools that we already have, because creating new tools means that we have to go to the parliament. We know it is getting increasingly difficult. It is also, we are all democracies, and democracies take time, but Ukraine does not have that time. So how we can build in between, either bridge financing for this period and then move on. But it's important that we have the political will, and we will find a solution.
Prime Minister today said that Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, he chose not to be part of it. He said, you can go ahead, but I'm not going to be a part of this. Does the EU have a problem with Hungary? How can you work when you don't have unity?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've said several times here before, as long as he says the wrong things but does the right things, we are okay. We have been united so far, and we were able to deliver the decision on the accession talks yesterday. So it was interesting for the history books how it was done, but I will not talk about this today. But anyway, I think we all are democracies. We all have different worries. We listen to each other and try to find solutions. So maybe this time, Hungary has problems. In some other topic, somebody else has a problem. But we try to find a common solution, and that is the good part of European Union, really.
Prime Minister, you will actually agree on financial aid to Ukraine. What makes you confident that in January it will not be?
Because there's a strong will of the 26 to deliver. So in January we have the time to work out the solutions for this time and to work with Hungary as well. So I'm pretty confident that we will have a solution by January, because 26 definitely want this.
Prime Minister, Georgia is already a candidate country. Prime Minister.
No, he did not.
Prime Minister.
Of course, we spoke about the different funds in a sense. For example, when we talked about the opening the accession talks. So if regarding releasing those funds, it is ticking all the boxes, and then the funds are released. The same should apply for Ukraine as well. If the Commission says that they have ticked the boxes, then we should open the accession talks. So in that sense, we talked about the funds, but not really linking those things together.
How
strange was the situation?
I will describe it in my memoirs someday, but it's not going to be today. So yeah, it's interesting how the sausage is made.
Georgia is a candidate country now. So what's your message to the country for today, and the main advice for future?
The main advice is that Georgia should also do their homework. I'm also very happy that we were able to grant a candidate status. We know from our own history that this requires a lot of political will and a lot of reforms that you have to do in order to move forward. But I know that the Georgian people have chosen the European path.
You said it's for your memoir.
Opens the door of this organization, as President Michel said in 2013.
We'll work on this. Of course, we have to do our own homework as well. Enlargement, absorption, capacities, everything in relation to that. But I think that if those countries have fulfilled the criteria, we should be ready by that time. It would be wrong to say that we are not ready if you are ready. So I hope that that goes smoothly.
Will you for your memoir to describe the situation? But if you look in the future, is that the way the EU should work? If someone has to leave the room in order to function?
Someone did not have to leave the room, but wanted to leave the room. So I mean, it's a voluntary organization, and we work here. We are all politicians, I think, who have managed to work themselves up around that table, know what is at stake and how to really compromise. I mean, I've said here before, there's really a true spirit of compromise around that table, listening and trying to find solutions for the worries that different countries have. How we do it, it's another thing, but it's important that we reach a conclusion, a decision, and we are united.
What is the symbol of the accession talks work if the European Union cannot provide any financial aid?
It is a very important political signal. I mean, as somebody said yesterday, when Ukraine is doing Ukraine is struggling in the military side, then we should also provide them political support. And this is the political support to say that we move on with the processes, and Ukraine's future is in Europe. As I said before, we will reach an agreement on the financial aid. There was a clear political will. It was just 3 o'clock already, and it was clear that we are not reaching the solution yesterday night. So we work out the instruments in between. There's definitely going to be a discussion on the Middle East, the views, the situation on the ground, and the conclusions as well. So definitely there's going to be talk about that.
Okay. Will you agree on calling for a ceasefire in Gaza?
We, as Estonia, agreed this in the UN regarding this, and we will discuss this today. So, as EU, Well, we try, but we will, listen around the table and see, because in UN we were not united as European Union. But we will hear the worries and like we always do, try toward the compromises. Okay, thank you.
Maybe first on Israel and Palestine. I think compared to the last Council, the situation has worsened in a dramatic way. What should be our objective is that the human suffering should end on both sides, and there's been way too much human suffering. What are the components of that? Is full humanitarian access needs to happen. Hostages needs to be liberated, and there needs to be a cease of the hostilities. Now, how do we get there? An important element is that we Europeans have a common position. If we want to play a serious role in that conflict, and I think we have to, because we will be bearing the consequences if things go further in the bad direction, then we need to get to a common position. And I really hope that today we could have a good discussion about this, get into a common position, and play the role that we need to play in a conflict that has led to too much human suffering. And I will repeat what I said at the gates of Gaza. The killing of innocent civilians really needs to stop.
Prime Minister, we have to ask you about Ukraine, because that was the headline from last night. What do you make of the fact that Prime Minister of Hungary had to leave the room in order for you to approve accession talks with Ukraine?
The decision that has been taken is a decision that binds 27 countries. Now, if you are there physically or even mentally, or you were thinking about something else, the decision has been taken by 27 countries, and it's an important decision that has been taken. It's a very important message we gave to the Ukrainians. In a difficult moment, we are on your side. It's also an important message you give to Moscow, is that in an important moment, we are on the side of the Ukrainians. And to the rest of the world, we say that the unity that we had as Europeans is stronger than ever, and that the support we provide to Ukraine is there, and it's there to stay, and it will be plenty.
What about the cash? Because there's no unity when it comes to the 50 billion euros.
Well, there, I think a lot of progress has been made. Big steps have been made to get to a common position. We're not there yet. It looks like we need a few weeks to get there, and it will probably come to us in the incoming presidency of Belgium. But I think a lot of progress has been made. We see what the framework could be of an agreement, but it looks like we need a few weeks to get there. But there as well, the message to Ukraine is, we will be there to support you. We need to figure out a few of the details to get there, but we will be there to support, and that's the message we want to give today. First of all, on accession, we've been very clear. You will be part of the European Union at one point if the reforms take place. Financial support, it is there today, and it will be there in the future, but we needed some time to get through this.
Prime Minister, would you unfreeze all the EU funds for Viktor Orbán?
Sorry.
One of the solutions be to unfreeze all the EU funds for Viktor Orbán?
Well, but some of the funds are frozen because of reforms that need to happen in the rule of law, because the reforms that need to happen in fighting corruption. That's the reason why it was frozen. I don't see the progress there yet. It can only be unfrozen if there is progress on those domains. I'm not sure what you're trying to imply.
Prime Minister, what makes you think it's realistic to achieve financial aid for Ukraine in January? And a second question, if I may. today do you think that will agree on calling for ceasefire in Gaza? Thank you.
So first of all, on getting to a financial package, look, I think we made good progress yesterday, but it looks that we need to have an agreement of all 27 on that, and unfortunately yesterday that was not possible. 26 was possible, but we need all of us need to be on board to come to a decision. There we need some more time, but I'm confident that in a few weeks we should be able to get there. On Israel-Palestina, as I said, I think compared to the last council, the situation has worsened in a dramatic way, and the hostilities need to stop. The human suffering needs to stop. It's important that we Europeans come to a common position there, and that common position should be granting a lasting, complete humanitarian access, releasing. This is our neighborhood, and we will be impacted if the situation that we see today is continued. And honestly, the way things have worsened over the past weeks is not something that can continue. And we have to be very clear as Europeans there on what we stand for. And respecting international humanitarian law, respecting the lives of civilians is crucial to us. So we should be able to have a common position on that.
On Ukraine, I don't want to imply anything, but did he ask for this link? Did he say, provide me my EU funds, and I might reconsider the 50 billion for Ukraine?
No, he did not say that.
Prime Minister, thousands of people are already in the candidate status in the streets of Georgia. So what would be your message today?
Well, the message is that who wants to live in prosperity, who wants to live in a society with respect one for another and with respect for different opinions, and who wants to live in security and is open to do the necessary reforms, we're open for that as Europeans. And I think indeed we gave a very important message to whoever looks at Europe as a haven of prosperity and of peace, and also a very clear message to the ones who threaten this, and especially to Moscow, that we will not be intimidated. And even in difficult moments, we do stick together and we come to decisions. And the way the decision was taken, to me, is not that important. What is important is the decision that has been taken, and it is a decision that binds 27 countries. Whatever anyone wants to say about this, it's a decision that was taken by 27, and it means that 27 were part of that decision.
Do you think that what Israel does is still within its right of self-defense?
I think that a part of the position we come to today is asking Israel to maximum restraint and they have the right to eliminate the terrorist threat that is originating from Gaza. They have every right to do that, but in restraint and in respecting international humanitarian law. And I think it's very clear. There's been too many civilian killings. Let's stop the civilian killings. And we as Europeans have to be very clear on that message. All right. Our last one, and then I'm sure there's colleagues of mine who also want to talk to you.
I know that you're about to take on the presidency of the Council. Could you just tell us what you think is going to be the biggest challenge?
Well, all of the questions that you've asked, I think that they will still be there, and we hope, of course, that the situation in Israel-Gaza improves in a dramatic way. But if it does, then the question will be, what's the next day? And as Europeans, we will have to play a role in that. Agreeing on a financial package for Ukraine is going to be an important one. And then we see other topics. I mean, the risk of deindustrialization in Europe is there, and working on industrial policy and on making an industrial package is going to be a crucial one. And then great work has been done by Spanish colleagues on migration package and so on. But it might be that we have to finish some parts of that. In total, there's approximately 150 files which are waiting to be completed. So we will not be bored in the next months. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister.
amazing political process. Yesterday we were talking about the obstacles on the path towards positive decision regarding Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia. Today we are celebrating, yes? And I am really proud. I am proud to be European, and it was necessary to send this political signal to our friends in Ukraine, especially because the country is in the war. I had the opportunity to call and to communicate with President Zelensky. I said to them, you guys, you deserved this decision. You were putting so much efforts to implement the necessary reforms, and you are rewarded. Of course, this is only the first page of very long process, but in order to go further, you need to open the first page, yes, if you are reading the book. And I hope very much that despite these obstacles, despite this bloody war, Ukraine will succeed and Ukraine will be Europe. Because in my thoughts, Ukraine is today the Europe, defending our freedom, defending our democratic principles. And as a representative of Lithuania, the country which suffered a lot because of Soviet occupations, and it was really a very tough period for us to enter European Union, NATO and other organizations. But now we would like to share our experience in this field, and we will do for certain. So let's celebrate, and congratulations to Georgia, because you deserved it too. And I know what was the reaction in the streets. I was following what is happening in the streets of Tbilisi. Really, just very good feeling. Let me to celebrate in my heart.
You're very wrong in celebrating, but when you look at the financing for Ukraine,
wow.
It's true.
Well,
are you disappointed?
I would like to refer to yesterday. It was really rather, how to say, the mood was so-so. But looking forward, I think, I see the possibilities to have the deal. Yes, it will take time, maybe several weeks will be needed, and we will gather in Brussels again for the extraordinary meeting, but I hope that we will find a solution. At least now we have very clear majority of the countries who would sign the deal just right today. But of course, the consensus, unity is value for us too. So probably it's worth to put more efforts and to get all the countries on board. Thank you.
Is January realistic for financial support for Ukraine?
I think it's possible.
Tiesiog tiesiai šviesiai pasakė, kad jo tas veto dėl biudžeto yra susijęs su tuo, kad komisija turėtų visus pinigus atšaldyti. Vis dar galima sakyti, kad tai nėra tada Vengrijos šantažas.
Na, žinote, čia kokį žodį mes be parinktume, tikrai Vengrija prieš pastato save bendrijai. Ir net jeigu jie pateikė tam tikrus argumentus, kodėl jie taip daro, vis dėlto faktas lieka faktu. Absoliuti dauguma valstybių yra už tai, kad paremt Ukrainą šiuo ypatingai sudėtingu momentu, pirmiausia politiškai mes tą padarėme vakar. Bet tai nėra tik politinis sprendimas, tai yra ir sprendimas, kuris pradeda ilgą technokratinį procedūrinį procesą. Bet norint pradėti tą procesą, reikia pirmiausia priimti politinį sprendimą. Aš sakiau praėjusį kartą, kuomet lankiausi Europos vadovų taryboje, aš tikiu, kad sprendimą rasime dėl 50 milijardų eurų. Vakar svarstymai mano nuomonės nepakeitė ir galvoju, kad sprendimas dar turi šiek tiek pasifermentuoti tam, kad tą patį sausio mėnesį visiškai netrukus neeilinėme susitikime mes priimtume tą sprendimą. Ir aš galvoju, kad jisai bus naudingas Europai pirmiausia, jis bus naudingas labai naudingas Ukrainai, kadangi tai yra tokios pačios svarbos klausimas, kaip ir vakar svarstytas klausimas. Ukrainai reikia politinės paramos, bet Ukrainai reikia finansinių srautų, nes šalis turi balansuoti, mokėti atlyginimus viešojo sektoriaus tarnautojams, pensijas, socialinės išmokas ir žinoma, kad kuomet ekonomika susitraukia vos ne per pusę, tai padaryti yra nepaprastai sudėtinga, o tiksliau sakant net neįmanoma. Todėl susitarsime, nes kito kelio tiesiog neturime. Aš manau, kad tai, ką mes galėjome padaryti ir, taip sakant, ištirti dirvą, kiek mes turime sutarimo, mes tą padarėme vakar. Konstatavome, kad pozicija yra tokia, kokia yra. Ir manau, kad tiesiog per tą laiką mes dar rasime galimybių paieškoti kitų sprendimų ir turėti variantus A, B, C.
Dar kalbant, grįžtant prie Orbano pareiškimo, jūs iš tos esate sakęs, kad mainų neturėtų būti ir neturėtų būti deramas vienas klausimas siejamas su kitu. Ar mato dar alternatyvų ir kokių alternatyvų galėtų pasiūlyti Lietuva, jog Vengrija sutiktų atblokuoti ir sutiktų skirti paramą Ukrainai, nedarant kažkokių mainų?
Žinote, aš mėgstu aiškias taisyklės. Pinigai tiek Lietuvoje, tiek Belgijoje, tiek Vengrijoje turi būti naudojami pagal paskirtį, kitaip tariant, šalis turi įvykdyti tam tikrus reikalavimus, kad galėtų pinigus panaudoti. Mes irgi juk turime problemų su dalimi pinigų dėl to, kad neįgyvendiname mokesčių reformos. Bet tai turi būti susieta ne su Ukrainos, ne su artimųjų rytų ar dar kažkokiamis kitomis problemomis. Tai turi būti susieta su šalies įsipareigojimu. Kitaip tariant, jeigu jau esi bendrijoje, laikykis tam tikrų sąlygų ir tada atitinkamai naudokis tais finansiniais ištekliais, kurios bendrija skiria. Pradėti painioti šitos takelius, kur mes nueisim? Mes nueisim į dalykus, kur viskuo bus prekiaujama kaip artimųjų rytų turguje. Taip neturi. Ko trūksta Vengrijai? Šiandien mes siūlome 26 valstybių konsensusą, rytoj galbūt tai bus 27 valstybės, per keletą savaičių gali įvykti dalykų, kurie galbūt pakeis ir Vengrijos nuomonę. Todėl nereikia laužti per jėgą ir manau, kad svarbiausia, kad Ukraina gautų žinoma pinigus laiku, todėl niekas neketina laukti iki kovo ar balandžio ir vėl svarstyti šitą klausimą.
O prezidente, ką iš esmės tai reiškia, kad sausio iš pinigų jau nebegaus, ar sausio jau Ukraina nebegaus iš pinigų? Ukraina gaus pinigus taip, kaip numatyta mūsų biudžete ir tą darys visus 2024 metus. Ta aš galiu patikinti.
Добър ден, господин премиер.
Здравейте.
С нощи до 3 часа не успяхте да убедите Орбан за финансирането за Украина. Какъв беше проблемът?
Да погледнем от към хубавата страна. Другите 26 са обединени около точна сметка, с ясни приоритети, с ясни суми. Така че действително остана само унгарския премиер. Затова и решението беше, че в момента продължаваме с тези изчисления и през януари ще направим една допълнителна среща, за да се опитаме да вземем и неговото съгласие.
Извънредна среща?
Да, извънредна ще бъде.
Господин премиер, вчера казахте, че Европейската комисия е медиатор, ще ни бъде медиатор в нашата стратегия за Шенген. Това се потвърди още миналата нощ. Председателят на Европейската комисия се е срещнала с австрийския канцлер. Моля ви да ни разкажете какво друг се случи през нощта и какво излязло от тези срещи, какво стигна до вас. Позитивен лист.
Всъщност срещата беше обща. Бяхме заедно с румънския президент, с канцлера на Австрия при госпожа фон дер Лайен. Това, което направихме е да обясним, че за нас сухоземните граници са важни, да направим едно предложение как би могло да се подходи. Така че остана за последваща дискусия. Това е, което имаме. За момента преговорите продължават. Както казах, ще бъдат до последния ден.
А не е имало среща на 4 очи фон дер Лайен, не Хамер?
Аз не знам за такава среща. Имахме обща среща.
Господин премиер, в разчета на реализацията на бюджета са предвидени 2 милиарда за засилване на външните граници. Доколко в тази сума имаме сума за нас?
Не са разбити по отделни граници, но със сигурност част от тези средства ще бъдат насочени за техническо обезпечаване, за изпращане на допълнителни патрули от другите държави, така че да, това има пряко отношение към защитата на нашата граница с Турция.
А като казвате последен момент за Шенген, кой е този последен момент?
Ще видим. Нека да видим каква ще е реакцията от другата страна на това, което сме предложили.
При това ви посещение или в Брюксел очаквате да видите каква е реакцията или следващата седмица, когато реагирате в календара?
Това не зависи само от нас. Нека да видим австрийската страна. Тя също трябва да се ги обсъди, така че нека да минем на следващия етап. Ще разберете, когато има нещо ново.
Ще се възползвате ли да потърсите някакво съдействие от международни институции, лидери и ваши колеги за съдържание кораб?
В момента има институции, които са ангажирани. Както знаете, обикновено там трябва повече тишина, за да се проведат също преговори. Все още има известна неяснота как ще се развият нещата през следващите 1-2 дни, така че следиме го, но за момента няма нужда от допълнително усилие. Аз не мога да кажа, че това е точно подхода. Както знаете, Унгария си прие спорния закон, заради който бяха част от спрените средства. Имаше решение, всъщност беше още преди вчера това решение, че те ще получат средствата, така че не е имало такъв директно, вие ще получите парите, ако направите еди какво си. Обратното, всъщност парите бяха решени преди да започне Европейския съвет.
Господин премиер, вчера по време на съвета, първият ден на Европейския съвет, се падна с годишното обращение на руския президент Владимир Путин. Той направи едно много знаменателно изказване, че след руско-турските войни цялото черноморско крайбрежие е станало руско. Какво съзирате ли нещо в това изказване? Как бихте го изтълкували?
Конкретно за нас, да.
Ако се върнем даже няколко години назад, ще видите поредица от изказвания, които издават имперски амбиции. Тези имперски амбиции включват доста от сегашните държави, включително част от държавите, които са в Европейския съюз. Така че в известен смисъл нищо ново. От друга страна, разбира се, трябва да внимаваме за тези изказвания, защото преди това те изглеждаха като изказвания, след което се оказа, че някои от тях се превърнаха в план за действие. Така че, разбира се, трябва да внимаваме за това. Трябва във всеки случай да внимаваме какви са следващите действия на Русия и как ние трябва да бъдем подготвени за тях. От доста време, доста хора казваме, че трябва да се внимава в това отношение. Надявам се и българското общество най-сетне да почне да чува, че има нужда от внимание в тази посока. Аз не бих правил тази връзка. Това, с което се подготвяме, с интегрирането в структурите на НАТО и превъоръжаването на българската армия, включително съвместно в учения с други войски на НАТО, така че да бъдем готови, ако нещо, не дай си Боже, се случи.
Днешния за днес остана темата Близък изток, позицията на България.
Позицията на България е, че всички форми на тероризъм са неприемливи, че атаката на Хамас беше изключително брутална, трябва да се направи всичко възможно, за да се премахнат възможностите тя да се повтори в бъдеще. Големия въпрос е как. Както знаете, Европейския съюз застъпва идеята за две държави. Както знаете, търси се политическо представителство на палестинците през палестинската автономия, така че има различни варианти за бъдещето. Въпросът е как да се осигури това бъдеще и как да се тръгне към него. Това са въпроси, които ще обсъждаме днес.
Някои държави настояват за санкции към Израел по отношение заради западния бряг. България има ли позиция?
За момента не сме обсъждали санкции спрямо Израел.
Моля и няколко думи за ситуацията в българския парламент, общественото осигуряване, здравната каса, какъв ще е развоят, кога ще има развръзки при стратегията?
И, както и вчера казах, много е важно българския парламент да продължи да работи. Бюджет, конституция, още закони, които имат да се приемат, това са изключително важни теми. Предполагам, че следващата седмица ще се ускори работата на парламента, за да навакса това, което загубиха вчера и днес.
Известно ли датата на срещата на върха през януари?
Не е фиксирана дата. Обсъжда се края на януари или първите дни на февруари. Довиждане.
C'est pas possible pour Viktor Orbán de le faire et je pense qu'il est judicieux de prendre quelques semaines. La Belgique le prendra un peu sur elle parce qu'on sera dans la position de notre présidence. Mais c'est clair pour moi qu'un accord est possible. On a besoin d'un peu plus de temps pour le faire et le support financier actuel pour l'Ukraine est suffisant pour les mois qui viennent. C'est dommage qu'on n'a pas pu faire un accord là-dessus. D'un autre côté, sur l'adhésion de l'Ukraine, de la Moldavie et de la Géorgie, on a quand même pu scinder un accord tout à fait mémorable hier. Bah oui, ça aurait été mieux de faire les deux accords, mais parfois il faut constater que ce n'est pas possible. On a pu le faire sur l'adhésion de l'Ukraine, la Moldavie et de la Géorgie, et on a fait peut-être d'une manière un peu créative, mais on y est arrivé quand même. Sur l'aspect financier, pas encore, mais je suis confiant qu'on va y arriver. Non, ça ne faisait pas partie du... Alors, depuis le sommet précédent, la situation s'est malheureusement fortement détériorée. On doit, comme Européens, avoir une position claire. C'est que la souffrance humaine des deux côtés doit arrêter. Ce qui veut dire un accès humanitaire durable et complet, la libération des otages et la cessation des hostilités. Ça doit être le paquet sur lequel on se met d'accord. Je pense que comme Européens, on a clairement un rôle à jouer, on a une voix, et si on veut que cette voix soit être prise sérieuse, on doit montrer que nos valeurs de respect de démocratie, mais aussi de fin des hostilités, cette voix-là, on doit la porter, et ça veut dire qu'on doit venir à un accord par rapport à ça aujourd'hui. Ça c'est mon devoir pour aujourd'hui, c'est d'essayer de scinder une position commune par rapport à cela. Et on se le doit comme Européens de montrer que voilà, nos valeurs valent dans tous les conflits, en Ukraine mais aussi dans le conflit au Proche-Orient. Une cessation des hostilités serait une bonne chose parce qu'avec cela, on pourrait donner l'accès humanitaire complet et on pourrait, j'espère, procéder à la libération des otages. Je ferai tout pour le faire. Is nog niet gelukt. En ik denk dat we gisteren veel vooruitgang gemaakt hebben. Dat we gezien hebben dat de posities dicht bij elkaar gekomen zijn. Maar een finaal akkoord was gisteren niet mogelijk. Ik ben eigenlijk wel optimistisch dat het op een paar weken mogelijk is om dat te doen. Dat wil zeggen dat het in ons Belgisch voorzitterschap zal terechtkomen. Maar we hebben zeer veel vooruitgang gemaakt gisteren. We zijn niet tot het einde kunnen gaan. Oekraïne heeft voldoende middelen voor de komende maanden. Dus als we binnen een paar weken tot een akkoord komen, dan zullen zij de steun hebben om de strijd verder te kunnen voeren. Het is jammer dat dat gisteren niet gelukt is, maar het andere deel van het akkoord, waar we een perspectief geven tot toetreding voor Oekraïne, Moldavia en Georgië, is toch wel een zeer opmerkelijk akkoord en toont ook wel aan de Oekraïners dat we aan hun zijde staan en toont vooral aan Rusland dat we ons niet laten intimideren en dat we aan de kant van Oekraïne staan. Nou, maar ik denk... Nee, we zijn niet aan het twijfelen. 26 van de 27 landen hadden dat akkoord kunnen maken. Voor Hongarije kon dat nog niet. En ik denk dat het belangrijk is, het kan nog niet voor Hongarije. We hebben zeer veel vooruitgang gemaakt en ik denk dat de boodschap aan Oekraïne duidelijk is. We hebben een beetje tijd nodig, maar die steun, die financiële en militaire steun, die zal er zijn. Er is wat tijd nodig om daar te komen. Onderschat niet wat we gisteren beslist hebben met betrekking tot toetreding en de zeer forse boodschap die we daar gegeven hebben aan Moskou, die eigenlijk dagen aan een stuk aan het hoofd.
Morning. Yesterday we reached a historical decision, not just for Ukraine and Moldova, as well as for Georgia, but also for European Union and our people, because we decided to open negotiation discussions, accession discussions with Ukraine and Moldova, and giving candidate status for Georgia also was very important. And there will be still some work done for Bosnia-Herzegovina, but also the decision was very positive for them as well. Yesterday, during night, we also decided what is a nego box for financial support for Ukraine. But the good news is that everyone of 26 member states agreed on that long-term financial support is very important for Ukraine. And we just need to come back to find the best solution, what's the instrument, how we can support them. So early next year, we will come back and find the way how we can support Ukraine financially. But it's a good news that this political decision, what we gave yesterday, will support Ukraine and its people. So it's a good hope for them and also for us, because therefore they will not stay in a gray shade where Russia shines, and they will be members, hopefully, in the next coming years.
Would you talk today about the past relations in the Middle East and how should the ceasefire or the cease hostilities or could localize?
We will have a discussion today about Middle East. We will see how it will go. I don't know, will we deliver any decisions? But discussions always are very intense. And I believe two-state solution would be the best for all of them. Thank you.